The movie begins with a retired boss of the most feared and respected mafia in England. Currently, he spends his old age in Spain practicing shooting every day. Furthermore, he lives in a lavish home that demonstrates his affluence. He and his daughter, Carmen, are having lunch one day, when he mentions missing his older brother, Charlie, who lives in England. Shifting to Charlie discussing Richie in the past, with some of his pals. Simultaneously, he receives a call from Richie. The siblings conveyed their longing for each other through calls.
See you, Charlie. I'm looking. Yeah, me too, bruv.
Charlie rejoined his friends after. Richie's buddy, Lizzie, approaches Charlie and asks for Richie's phone number, because she has always been interested in him. Charlie ultimately agrees to be a matchmaker and offers his phone number, knowing that she is the right one for Richie.
Come on with me then.
Next, Aaron and Lauren are walking down a quiet street in London. Aaron, a gang boss, is revealed to be attempting to trap his girlfriend, Lauren, transporting her to a bunch of gangsters in a tiny alley. She gets harassed in that lane, and they even record their activities on purpose. Dean, one of the gangsters, tries to stop his friends, but he is stopped by Aaron. Until Charlie arrives, he heard a ruckus behind the bar. When Charlie notices the gangsters preparing to abuse a woman, he requests Lauren leave and reprimands the group. Instead, they insult Charlie, so he punches one of them. Aaron is enraged by his conduct and demands that he be hanged to death.
Telling you all now.
Not long after, Lizzie, who had just left the bar to hunt for Charlie, is shocked to discover Charlie had died in an alley near the bar. She reports the event to two detectives, Susan Taylor and John. Unfortunately, due to a lack of evidence, the two detectives are unable to apprehend Aaron and his group. Furthermore, Lizzie did not witness the incident directly, and only saw the mob group emerge from the little lane, where Charlie was discovered dead.
Want to protect them, do you?
We need evidence.
Who?
She informs Richie of Charlie's death. When he hears it, he appears devastated, and intends to return to England. Shifting to the police detectives, Susan and John approach Aaron and his gang, and threaten to arrest, if they are found guilty of murdering Charlie. Aaron refutes the claims and chooses to depart.
An old man was attacked. Let's walk the crime scene one last time.
After the two investigators left, he asks his friends to keep Lauren quiet, because she had witnessed their attack. Dean, who is aware of the plan, goes to her residence in stealth, and informs her that Aaron is on his way to threaten her. He also advises her to remain indoors, for her own protection.
He's coming.
Aaron and several gang members then arrive in front of Lauren's house. He forces her to remain silent, and not notify the authorities about the events. He also threatens her and her mother's lives. Richie arrives in England and meets Roy, one of his people, right away. He goes to Lizzie's house, to inquire about Charlie's whereabouts. She states that she did not witness the incident personally. She believes the killers were thugs, who frequently cause trouble in London.
To let the police know that I've been here.
Richie and Roy then head to the crime scene. They run across Susan and John, who are looking into the case. Susan urges the case be turned over to the police, knowing that Richie was formerly the most respected former Mafia leader. Richie doesn't, however, want to turn over the investigation into his brother's killing to the police. But in front of them, he agrees and leaves.
Well, nice to have met you, Inspector.
Lizzie informs him late at night in the bar she had discovered a video of Aaron and his friends harassing Lauren. She believes the video had something to do with Charlie's death.
Here, look at this. I looked at some of the other videos.
Lizzie, who knew Lauren, supplies him with Lauren's employment location. Richie questions Lauren about the events of murder. Lauren, who feels obligated to Charlie, finally informs him about the incident in a quiet area near her workplace. She informs him that the local gang led by Aaron is the mastermind behind the murder.
Yes, he did.
Unbeknownst to them both, DK, a female from Aaron's gang, spots her and begins telling others about what they did to Charlie. DK returns to headquarters and informs Aaron that Lauren discussed the incident with a man named Richie. He assumes Richie is just another middle-aged man and appears cool and unconcerned. Moving back to Richie and his Mafia associates at Charlie's funeral. An elderly guy named Arthur arrives at the location. Soon, Richie makes a joke about Arthur leaving, because he is too old to hang out with them. Hearing him, Arthur becomes enraged and tells Richie that he is the only one who nearly defeated Richie. Richie and everyone else laughs. After that, he thanks Arthur and states his buddies have gathered. After the funeral, Richie runs up to an old friend named Jack, a retired police commissioner, who lives in a humble house. He wants Jack to assist him in locating information about Aaron and his gang. If Jack agrees to assist, Richie pledges to give him part of his belongings, so he can live a better life in retirement. A few days later, Jack provides information on several gang members. Unfortunately, he discovered no information about Aaron, the group's commander. Richie asks his friends to kidnap 2 gang members, Leroy and Ed, based on this knowledge. Since the perpetrators of their kidnapping are a gang of elderly folks, Leroy and Ed ignore Richie and his inquiry about Aaron's whereabouts. They make fun of Richie and his friends, and don't even think twice to threaten Richie and his companions, who laugh when they see this, because the 2 young kids don't seem to know their true identities and their past. When he hears Ed disparage Charlie, Richie becomes enraged. After hearing Richie's orders, Arthur begins pulling nails and hammers from his backpack. He inserts the nail into the back of Ed's hand without hesitation. Not ending there, he begins drilling Ed's feet.
And this!
I was there, okay?
Leroy becomes terrified when he watches his friend being tortured, and is eager to assist Richie, saying he will lure Aaron out of his hiding location, not wanting to be tormented like his comrade. Richie's buddies obviously don't believe him, but Richie suddenly accepts his offer, and releases him. After Leroy is free, he grabs a gun, and prepares to shoot Richie, who shoots him to death, pulling the trigger on his own gun, stating he too did not trust Leroy. He simply did not want to kill someone who was defenseless. They all laugh once again. Shortly afterwards, when they prepare to interview Ed, he dies as a result of their torture.
It's called retribution.
Then we need to find them, and then we need to fuck them up.
Aaron appears irritated that 2 of his members have just vanished. He mistook the 2 members for victims of his gangster adversary. Richie returns to Lauren the next day, to assist her in locating the rest of Aaron's group. She informs him that one of the gang members, JB, hangs out in the parking lot. He finally requests her phone number, feeling bad for continuing to visit her. Unfortunately, Susan, the investigator, arrives and tries to protect Lauren before she can give him her phone number. Susan, who turns out to be her mother, requests that Richie refrain from involving her daughter. In a parking lot, JB notices Arthur alone there, assumes he is a frail elderly man, and attempts to bully him. However, as soon as Arthur pulls out a sword, JB, who is riding a bicycle, pedals away. JB is about to fall when a car stops in front of him. Richie's friends are apparently driving the car, and Arthur's presence in the parking lot is a trap to catch him. JB is found tied and hanged in an abandoned building, after being kidnapped by Richie and his friends. Richie inquires once more regarding Aaron's whereabouts. Regrettably, JB, who dismisses them all, refuses to reveal any information, and even insults Charlie in front of them, claiming that when they beat him to death, he looked like a foolish puppy. Richie becomes enraged hearing this, and beats JB to death. Unfortunately, Richie's sickness returns, and he has to be hospitalized. He requires medical attention, and then devises a scheme to entice Aaron out of his hiding location. A few days later, it is discovered that Aaron and his gang are building weapons to deal with enemy gang attacks. Lauren unexpectedly arrives at the office to meet him. She informs that Richie has kidnapped and killed all of his missing gang members, and also states that Richie is currently hospitalized. She receives a phone call from her mother in the middle of their talk. Aaron instructs her to accept the call, so Susan would not suspect her. After she tells Aaron everything, he and his gang mates arrive at the hospital and kidnap her. He then directs his team to disperse in search of Richie's quarter. Soon, 2 gang members enter Richie's room and fire at the bed, believing he is sleeping there. Unbeknownst to them, Richie and his comrades arrive behind them and begin fire. Aaron in the elevator hears the gunshots and realizes Richie has found out his scheme. He examines Lauren's phone suspiciously and discovers that she and Richie had intended to implicate him and his group. Aaron is enraged learning that Lauren had set him up and wants to kill her. Fortunately, Dean has just arrived to assist her and forces Aaron to the ground. Following that, Richie's gang and Aaron's gang engage in a heavy shootout. Lauren, realizing that the situation is out of hand, immediately contacts Susan and requests that she rush to the hospital. Richie's crew managed to slaughter Aaron's gang members one by one. Unfortunately, one of Richie's members gets shot in the hand and is taken for treatment right away. Dean attempts to save Lauren and takes her away from the hospital. However, Aaron discovers this and holds her hostage in order for Richie to come out to see him. After that, Richie and his companions emerge from hiding and discover Aaron poised to shoot.
All right, you got me.
Dean is able to stop Aaron's plan from behind, causing his gun to ricochet towards Richie, who grabs the gun right away, but he is having trouble getting the bullets in. Then Aaron appears in front of him, aiming another gun at him. Aaron's gun, however, runs out of ammo, so he can't kill Richie.
That was for Charlie.
At the same time, Susan and many police officers arrive and instantly shoot Aaron because he is deemed a danger to Richie. Richie is pictured in a hospital bed after the incident. Susan also comes to express gratitude for saving her daughter. Richie hosts a massive celebration at the club a few days later. He meets Lizzie there and learns that she is interested in him. But Lizzie refuses to stay in Spain since she does not want to leave England. Richie's buddies are melancholy because of his departure to Spain, especially after the Vengeance battle. But then Richie emerges unexpectedly behind his buddies, who had assumed he had flown back in his private helicopter. He informs his buddies that he has decided to remain in England and live with them. Richie and his friends prepare to smash crime in London as a form of atonement for their previous transgressions. The end.